Theories and conjectures in science can take a long time to prove or solve. That's one reason why astronomers are such a patient lot. We do a lot of waiting for the clouds to pass, waiting for conditions to improve, and we are all still waiting on Betelgeuse and T Corona Borealis to explode. In 2004, David Ramm at the University of Canterbury in New Zealand spotted a mysterious repeating signal while observing the motion of a pair of stars in a system called New Octantis, also V Octantis. This started a long debate on whether the signal was evidence that this system included a planet roughly twice the size of Jupiter, which some physicists thought impossible because of the size and closeness of the two stars. Now, Ramm and Man Ho Lee at the University of Hong Kong and their colleagues have offered the most conclusive evidence yet that New Octantis is really a threesome rather than a duo. The key observation was that the New Octantis planet is retrograde. The planet and one star both orbit the second star, but they do so in opposite directions, with the planet having the tighter orbit around the second star. Lee says this is unusual but makes the system's configuration stable, even though it means that the planet repeatedly moves through the narrow space between the two stars. His team was able to determine this with lots of certainty thanks to improved measuring devices such as the HARPS, which stands for High Accuracy Radial Velocity Planet Searcher, spectrograph at the European Southern Observatory's 3.6-meter telescope in Chile. The HARPS spectrograph installed on the ESO 3.6 telescope at the La Silla Observatory, seen in this image here. The vacuum vessel is open and the shell grating is visible on the optical bench. The fact that the planet's signal persisted through years of observation helped too. We are pretty sure the planet is real because if it was something like stellar activity, it shouldn't be so consistent in years of data, says Lee. But this backwards moving planet isn't the only exotic feature of New Octantis. This is a simplified diagram of Ramm's conjecture of the New Octantis planetary system, including the orbits of the stars A and B and the retrograde planet P. The spectral light provides RVs, which is radial velocity, only from star A, as B is much fainter. The periodic changes to the RVs are relative to the center of mass, C, which are all determined by B and A plus P. The researchers used the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope, also in Chile, to determine that one of this system's stars is a white dwarf, which means that it has reached the end of its life cycle, becoming denser and smaller. Lee says this complicates the New Octantis threesome's history because mathematical models of its past show that the planet's current orbit was impossible when the star was younger, bigger, and brighter. Uh-oh. So, although after 20 years the fact has been confirmed that a planet seems to be squeezing between two stars in a retrograde orbit, now a new debate has begun. So what are the theories? The planet either used to orbit both stars at once, but then radically shifted trajectory when one of the two stars became a white dwarf, or it was formed from the mass that the star ejected as it transformed into a white dwarf. Future observations and a lot more mathematical modeling may be able to pinpoint which of these scenarios is more likely to have occurred, but both are rather novel. For centuries, star watchers have been used to neat cosmic arrangements like the solar system, where all planets orbit a central star in the same direction and with temperate spacing. But New Octantis breaks all such conventions. Much more data is now needed to try to determine the history of this binary star system with its exoplanet in a retrograde and a rather squished orbit. Speaking of needing much more data, sadly, Earth may become more cut off from the cosmos than it has been in decades. On May 30th, 2025, the White House Office of Management and Budget announced its full budget for fiscal year 2026, including a devastating 47% cut to NASA's science program. If enacted, this plan would cancel at least 41 space missions, including spacecraft already paid for, launched, and making discoveries. Juno would no longer explore Jupiter and its moons. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, already almost finished construction, would be terminated. The only 2 NASA missions to ever explore Venus would be scrapped. A third of NASA's staff would be laid off, and so much more would be lost. The Planetary Society is encouraging everyone from every country to sign a petition. You do not have to be a U.S. citizen to join the advocacy. Here is a link provided. NASA has put forth this image to represent the beginning of the losses in their workforce. I really wish there was a gravity switch that we could flip.